All right. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. We're going to clone the project from GitHub. I'm going to drag the browser over here. That's from Go to School.
Yeah, so we're just going to take the coder photo thing and we kind of do the JavaScript. But what we're going to add this time is we're going to add emailing the user when their photo gets liked.
So you can do this yourself. Let's clone this. And I'll create a new window for our terminal to work on it. Can you see this? Alright, let's do this. So let's clone this. We did this before, so this is the problem if it's a private. So I'm just going to use, for public repo, it's really convenient to use HTTPS, but for private, some of you may prefer to use this. So we'll clone that, and as usual, for some of you who set up, I need to set this up on my machine. So usually it's a good practice, but set up for RVM, gem set. When you work in the team later on, it's kind of important. Let's do it real quick. So let's go to this project. Make sure I have the right gem over here. I'm running bundle, and the next thing we're doing is just make sure we can launch the website. And as we can remember from last time, we need to prepare the database, but let's load the website anyway. Right? This is 3000. Okay, so it's like, okay, this is nil because we don't have anything. I suppose we have to...
should already have it because it's named the same as last time. So,
oh, actually I need to name the same. Yeah, so we should have it. Let me just close my other... I think I'm using 3000 somewhere else. But is it 3000 over here? Okay. So let's look at the code. See why we're having this photo.likes count. Right, so we're going to put this on full screen. Photos, view, photos, and here's the file in index, line 5. That's not it, right? And this is partial. This is the partial. This is line 5. And we don't have the photo, right? And I have a console here. Actually, because the projector screen is really weird. I have a console here that I can just check what the variables I have. And apparently in here I don't have photo. So we just clone the project. Let's see what's the last thing we did. What's the last thing we did? Adding the gem. Okay, so and then let's check the schema. Let's try to debug this together. Basically, I'm canceling the server. Make sure that I'm running this same server. That's not here. That's good. Let's run the server. And we're getting this problem, which is a little strange because if my photos are nil, I shouldn't be getting into this. Alright, it's trying to run the partial. But this is nil. So this should crash here, right? Right? So it's really strange. So let me just first, we're debugging this together. I'm going to comment this out, right? And I run this. Good, right? So we have that. And next thing is, before I run this block, I'm going to maybe I put a, what do you think? I'll just debug. So one way you put debug photos here, and again I comment these out. So commenting in HTML can be a little tricky, so I'll just remove it. You can do some begin and tag, but so we have photos. Okay, so and in this photos, we trying to render how many photos we have here. I think I think I have it. I know why.
Any rate DB reset.
Exactly. So because I did a few things that there's a missing column, likes count. So let's do that. Rate DB reset.
So what does reset do?
Anyone? Reset. You drop it and then you seed it. Okay. That's okay. What it's saying is, what it's saying here, there's someone else also using the database. It's a server. See, in the past, Rails was not this difficult. So where's the server? Run that. We run it right here. Right? DB reset. Excellent. So now we have. Are we all migrated? Create tables. Yeah, we are. Right. So we might have to seed, but let's go to the website here. Need to run the server, and this time my code. I don't need what's the I haven't done anything, right? So if I load this, I have nothing. So how do we load the data from last time? Remember this one. We can't. I don't think this works on Heroku, so we'll show you a trick to do it differently. Excellent. So here we are, right? Last time we did the like, and Nathan asked, how do we do it? Again, we'll try to do it today, but in a much more advanced way, okay? So next up is that we're going to add user. So a lot of us can like, right? So we're going to use device instead. So Rails device. And you can read it up here, but it's really, really fast. I'm just going to copy and paste.
So if you use device, what's a gem to handle the user authentication? So instead of doing the has secure password, all that stuff, use device. And it has pros and cons, like anything. So some of the hard stuff you have to do all this stuff you don't really understand. But it gives you a lot of functionality. Like my favorite thing is it gives you forgot password, reset password. That stuff's all built in. So it's a little easier. It's also pretty easy to have Facebook login if you use device.
Great. So we added device. Some of you used it before. So here, let's follow the instruction, right? Over here, it says, please add this to your development config. It means if you do emailing, if it email to your development file, right? If you email, it will say, oh, we send you from localhost. So it know what domain name to send. So I'm going into config/environment/ development.rb. So when you deploy to Heroku, this line does not affect it, right?
Can you explain what config/environments, what that directory is?
Yes. We have Rails app. When we load the application.rb first, right? So you guys see that over here, we load all the Rails things related, and you start to have the application here. But at the same time, it starts loading environment specific. You see this line over here? Settings in config/environment / take precedence. So it means it will start loading all these environments, and then it loads your application. So for development, this is what it does. It say, hey, don't cache, and then for local, for your local code, it has all these settings. That is slower, but it's easier to debug, right? For your application to run. And we're adding it here. You see that some of this is only good for local, right? Debug is true, raise, error. So what we're adding here is just default. If you send an email, we're sending from localhost :3000. Does that make sense? Okay, so yeah, Charles, does that seem okay? Now, device also told us to So I just run this earlier, device install, and I'm going to run it again just to see this message. Okay, so we already have the file. It created an initializer. You can investigate it. Next up, it say, hey, make sure you have a page. We have that. Make sure you have flash messages. Let's do that real quick. And by now, you don't have to do this. For Heroku, this is only for old Rails, and you don't have to do this because we don't have to change the view. We can use the default. But for Flash, let's just use what we had before. So if I'm just gonna copy the link, Flash messages, right? We can just search for it online, and you can find the ones you like. I think ones. This is like, you know, no-brainer. We have what do you call it? Copy this and paste it in the application helper file. So I'll just go back to the editor. Go to application helper. I'll paste this right here. All right. So I have the Flash messages. So I go to layout and just put up. We already have Bootstrap, so we're just going to put everything in container. Up here we put Flash messages, right? And then we put this yield right under it. Does that seem okay? Okay with that? And once again, Flash messages is in application helper, right? You don't have to pass in any argument. It's default here. So it looks like it can do what we want. And let's generate the user, right? Let's do that. So here's an interesting thing. We did authentication ourselves, but with device, when you do Rails device generate user, this is what it does. It does what we did before: email column, password token column, encrypted password column. Similar, right? Not what you had before was called password digest, but here it gives you a lot of free attributes. Automatically remember the IP of the user for you, and how many times you sign in, and then you can also prevent user from signing in too many times to lock the account. Okay, great. So with that, new schema created. What do we do next?
You have to run migrate.
Let's migrate it. Excellent. So rake db migrate. Excellent. So far we basically add device and add the view, and then I think that's enough. Let's look at the browser and see if it works. But because we just added a gem, right? Let's run Rails server one more time. Rails server. And again, let's look at these files that we just made changes to. Updated the development, the files generated by device. So let's go to our Coda photo, this one. Excellent. So it works, right? Sign in successfully. Did we actually sign in? I think it's from my previous practice. So let's see if it works now. So with device, you actually have, if you're not sure, I don't have great memory, but I can just check this real quick, /Rails, and then it goes here. So how do I sign in? How do I sign up? Sign up will be here, right? So I copy this line. Let's go back to this page and add it up here, okay? View photo index, that's our root. And up here, let's have down here. So we can say if user is signed in, it just check for current user, right? If user is signed in, you probably say, well, welcome. This will be current user.email, right? And then you can, maybe you say log out. And then this is the link will be, if we look at the routes I just did, this one, destroy user path. That's sign out, right? I don't like calling it sign in, sign out because it's too similar. So I like calling it log out. And then maybe, what else? If we're not signed in, then what link do we show people? Okay, so here will be, yeah, so I think it's the same. Sign in, sign out, maybe it's, I'm sorry, it's similar, right? So sign in, How do I do that? Sign in. I use, which one do I use? It's a get request, right? So let's use that. However, there's also something else we want to give user. What is it? Okay, let's do sign up. And now maybe we can guess. New user, what? So yeah, so the device, it doesn't call you new user path, but it's new user registration path. This is sign up. So that's the URL you get. But it's convenient. I just copy and paste. So hopefully this gives me something interesting enough. So let's go back to this page, refresh, sign in, sign up. Okay, maybe move this to the top because you want it to be like a nav bar kind of guy, right? So I move it to the top. Excellent. So let's create the first user. So if I do a.example, I like to do example.com. So, but 8 characters minimum. Fine. Let's just test this to see if it works. Okay. Well, the styling is bad, but device is quite good. It gives us back the information, the errors here. You can make it style with Bootstrap, but we don't have to do it today. So let's just sign up. I have the first user. Welcome. Sign in. So this is me. Excellent. So I have that. If I actually, let's troubleshoot why the flash is ugly. Is it good enough for what's going on? Alert notice, right?
Alert dash.
Yeah, so someone did really bad up here. Basically, he say, well, if it's flash type success, notice alert info. So what's going on? Like, someone is, yeah, it's wrong somewhere. I think this should be like a symbol, maybe because, yeah. Of course now I don't have that message, but let's test the message. Uh-oh, what happened? Why can't we sign up?
Yeah, because you use link to
Okay, how do we fix that? Log out. Okay, so we took the method. What is it? Delete. So you can set this in device. You can tell device what you want. So excellent. So I log out. Sign up successfully. I'm going to sign in. Will be what? Example.com is. Let's remember me. Okay, I think we just fixed that, right? Okay, let's go on. Now we need to make this like work. And last time we only changed. Who remembers how we did it last time? In photo, we did a like method, right? But who likes the photo? The user, but we don't have a user here. So what we want today is actually liked by user. Does it make sense? We're going to implement that and then unliked by. So this is more interesting because you can remember who likes it. So you can display to like it or not, right? Excellent. So let's do that, but I'm going to just keep it blank here for now. We don't do test-driven today because we're going a little fast. So the next model I'm going to add, let's call it a vote. Okay? Rails. So let's see. Rails generate model vote. Here we have a model, a vote. What is the relationship between a vote and a photo? It belongs to a photo. What is the relationship with a user? So you have photos and then user in what? References, right?
You need S votes.
Yes?
You need the S in the name.
The name of the user?
Or the name of the vote.
Oh, yeah. What do you think?
Singular.
So the vote here is just a like, right? But we call it a vote. So now if you want to do like or dislike. So unlike means remove the like. Dislike means -1, right? Unlike is 0 and like is +1. So then you can say, will be like, maybe you say mode or, flag, boolean. So it means that if the boolean is false, it's a -1, right? So it's like upvote and downvote. So let's make it simple today. We just only have like and unlike. Now I want to make something complicated. Who here has used polymorphic association. Polymorphic, okay, so basically this works. It has photo ID and user ID. But what if I change my user to, if I change my user to like account table, then I have to change this to account underscore ID.
Or if you want to like comments or something.
Yeah. So basically you now can vote on photo. You can like a comment. You can like a photo, you can like a comment. So I want this to not be photo, to be something more flexible. Something is named like, you know, voted item, something like that, right? And over here will be the voter, right? Does it make sense? So actually there are libraries out there that do this, and the name usually people call it is able. So votable and voter. So votable means something you can vote on. A votable item means a photo or a comment, maybe something else. I don't know. You can even like other friends, right? Users. So let's try that. If I do this right now, I have the references. So pay attention, okay? So reference, this is enough for us to like something. So I have to make some changes. I look at my migration file right here. Right now it's saying, hey, foreign key is true. It means that, hey, go and mark the votable ID in the other table to be like, you know, the foreign key. So we all know this already, right? Index, foreign key. Actually, I'm just going to look at the schema file real quick. Do we have any? So, you know, when you do index true, then you have this index, add index command in the schema file. So
what is an index for?
Yeah, what is an index for? To search faster? Yeah? It's a primary, and then any key that usually you want to search by, it's to search faster, right?
Yeah, so indexes make inserting and deleting a little bit slower, tiny bit slower, because you have to write more data, so you create a second table, kind of a second tree, but it makes searching exponentially faster.
Yeah, because we pre...
Foreign key should be some kind of limit to specify that foreign key.
Yeah, you don't have to. Your app will work just fine. Foreign key actually will make your job harder. Basically, foreign key adds some database command to tell PostgreSQL to protect your data. If you say there's a foreign key to user 1 in photos, right, in votes, if you remove the user 1, it will say, no. In votes, we still have a row that's talking about user 1, right? It's mentioning user 1. So in your code, you have to be, go to this vote, either delete it or clear it out. The ID should be nil. So that's why. So when you add that, you have an extra layer of protection. So you don't lose data, you don't delete data, and then suddenly your app cannot load the page because the user is missing. Make sense? Okay, so for this, I want to do it this way to introduce what's called polymorphic association. So we'll see. I will do the same thing here. All right, and I'm going to run it. So there's not much changes. How do I migrate, right? Right, db migrate. All right. So after I migrate, as we learn, like it's good to just take a look. Okay, this guy basically does that. Add the ID and type. So for this association to work with our model, we actually what is votable type of a record? Photo. Yes. So whenever you create a new record, make sure this is photo. And then what is this down here? The voter type. User. If suddenly you add a new type of user, you call it admin. Admin can also vote because now your code is much more flexible. Of course, you know, flexible can come with a cost. So let's say we do that, and let's check the photo. It didn't add anything in here, so we're going to add belongs to where? Voter, right? And then here is polymorphic, it's true. and then we do belong to.
Or you want to put this on?
Oh, sorry. So a photo has many
Yeah.
votes. Yeah. So let me get the syntax right. Right. Rails polymorphic association. And has many. Basically, you say polymorphic. You can read it up here. The guide's fantastic, but we understand the three things over here. So has many, as. So I'm just gonna start from the obvious one. A user will also has many vote, right? Right? As voter. Does it make sense? Okay, so it's, and then the photo will be has many. You see this has many as syntax. So a photo will have has many votes as votable. So it's like you can call it a voted item, right? It's the same.
Did you spell it with an E?
Which one? Here?
Is that how you did it? Sorry.
I think I did just votable. Let's see if you can do that, right? Just see if I actually have the word votable in here, just to be sure. No, I didn't have it, but if I do this, it should be, okay. All of them are there, okay. And then, in the new table, vote, it's there, but we need to add the polymorphic true, right? Polymorphic true. So, all right. So how can we test this? How can we, it looks like the code is working. I migrated the data. So let's go and test it in the console. Rails console. And I'm going to create, maybe get the first user. So I let it variable to be like, A, and that's me, right? And if I do votes, you see this SQL query? Maybe I'll just print it so it looks a little bit more. Select votes from the votes table, where it checks that the voter type has to always be user, and then the ID has to be 1 here. So I can create a new vote. When do we create a new vote? All right, let's do that. The user create a new vote. So let's go back to the view. When you click this, it create a new vote. So in the model, here's when you can do test driven again. You know you will implement this method. Okay? Okay, so let's implement this method. How do we implement the method like by, vote by? So I use vote because we're trying to be a bit more powerful here, but it means here we have to create a new vote associating a user and photo, right? All right, so let's do that. A photo dot votes. It's good, right? Where voter is user. If I do that, if I do this, what does it give me? It get me the vote by this user, right? But if I want to create, so I'll just say create, done, right? So when a user unlike something, what do I do?
Wait, why are you putting an exclamation mark there? Why is it like by exclamation?
Does anyone want to answer that?
Unlike by exclamation.
So in Rails we put this when we say, hey, it's a small method that make changes to the database. So that's one way to say it. Actually, there are two meanings. So that's one. But with active record, when you do this, when you see this, if it doesn't succeed, it crashes. So right now, I want it to crash, right? It's easy to see where my things go wrong. So here, of course, I know there's only one vote, maybe. So I'll just say, get the first guy, and I destroy it. What's the problem up here? What's the problem? If you call like by, if you call unlike by, but the user doesn't like it, does it crash? Also crash. So I have another method called, does the user already like this? Okay? So it's very similar. Let's just do it real quick, and then voter is user. Notice this is really smart. It will find voter ID and voter type. And then basically here, there's a faster way. You can just say, does it exist? It's the fastest query. And then, so now I say, let's just say, already, no, not yet liked, right? If it's already liked by user. So I'm very clear what I'm trying to do here, right? And up here, let's also do the same thing. I will raise this error. Already liked if, right? Unless liked by user. I think I got it the wrong way, right? This will be if, and this down here will be if not, or unless. Alright, I think I pretend that we just test-driven this, right? Alright, and then let's go to the controller. What we had before is we're going to like the photo. Remember the like method? And how do we do that here? This is controller, right? The button, when you press it, it will go here. So I'll leave it here. I'll say, hey, I'll come back to this, okay? Let's change the view. Let's change the view. Where do I go? Photos, the partial, right? And then here's the button. And I'm actually going to create a button called like. Where does it go? Like photo action, right? Photo path, photo. Class. I'll just use the same class. Primary. Okay. Does it seem okay? Maybe we remove that button. And then let's see if this works. What happens? We don't have this route, right? Let's create this route. We actually did this before, so it's easy now. Let's go to route file. We did this last time, so it's in the member, and then I add a like method. Right, let's get an unlike here as well. And go back to, if I go here, what does it say? It will say the action is not there, right? But the path is there. So if I click on this, it will say, hey, oh, that's great. Let's implement this method. I'm just going to go here, and notice that the ID is here. So let's find the photo. How do I find the photo? Photo.find. Okay, now we say photo.like by whom? Current user. Right? And we want to do it a JavaScript way. Right? So I'm going to go to the like.js let's just .coffee, right? We like writing coffee script. And I say alert liking. Okay? Now we make sure it's not going to work. If I do this now, if I click here, what happened? Refresh. Like. Oh, that's smart, right? It's good. Already like, so it should be unlike. So we'll fix that, but let's like the next one. Okay. Wait, did I already like that guy? Okay. Let's fix this. Go back to photo. We can fix this easily because we already have the method. If photo.liked by whom? User, current user. Then you basically say this is unlike. If else, you change this to like. But up here will be unlike, right? Now here's the trick. We already know this has to be a method put, right? I have to change the route. It should be put or patch. And then,
Forgot the end.
huh?
Yeah. End of it.
And?
You forgot the end of it.
Yes, thank you very much. So you save me one error. And then go back here. Let's make sure this is a put, right? Because we're making changes to the database. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, good. So unlike.
How about you make the unlike button red?
Yeah, let's do that real quick. I'll go back to and make it unlike here. How do I make it red? Alright. So it's easy to see. Okay, unlike. That's great. Now let's try liking this one. Here's the trick. If you do this right now, it's an HTML request. Right? It will say, well, there's no template. Do we understand this now? Because we don't have the HTML file. We want it to go use the JavaScript file, right? So last time, remember we do the jQuery AJAX statement. It's easier. You can actually just say remote true. Let's try if that works, right? Now I have another like here to try. Ready? Like? Liking. Okay, this is working. Let's make both of that work. Now, go to controller. Notice I need to be able to unlike. Let's implement that so we can test with one photo. So I copy this whole, I copy these two things and paste down here. And what else? What do we need here? Unlike. That's it, right? Here's another trick. The logic of the like and unlike is only different in the controller. I'm going to update this like.js file over here. I'm actually going to update the view. Okay? So last time we show you how to do a selector and change it, right? Today we're going to do something a little bit more different. We're going to replace. Let's look at the code in photo. This one. We replace this card with a new card with new data. Does that seem reasonable? When you like, I render this page again. Seems okay? Okay. So there's a trick I showed last time. You want to have an ID here. So one way is to do that. Photo. So this is basically this gives me the ID of the photo. Let me just add that, and to show you, it makes my life easier. If you look at the card, where's the card? This card, right? You see the photo ID is here. Next, we go to the photo, the like file. How do we like it? We do that. jQuery. Who remembers? How do we get that? So it will be the same DOM ID of this photo, right? Now here you can actually set the HTML. So you can do this. Let's just try this real quick, right? If I like something, it just replaced the entire card with liked. Okay, maybe I have everything as unlike now. Like. Okay, the last one. Ready? Click. It replaced the entire card with liked. Good? Okay, so now we actually want to render the whole card again. Right? So to render the whole card, here's a secret. You can call render partial in here. So let's call that render. How do I render that partial? I just render that. Here's one more thing that you need. When you do this, in the JavaScript file, you need to escape the HTML. So here, actually, you can actually type the long version, escape JavaScript. And then, or the short version, which is just J. Yeah? All right, let's try this. But now everything is already like.
What do you mean escape JavaScript?
So if we don't escape, there will be other. Let's say there's a quotation mark right here. There's a quotation mark symbol in this string, and then this JavaScript will think that there's quotation mark here in the middle. It cannot read this whole string as a string, HTML, right? You want to escape it so that within these two quotation mark, it's just string for JavaScript. Does it make sense? All right, so I'm rendering this. Oh, wait a minute. When I like and when I unlike, it's the same. I just replace the card. How do I tell the unlike much?
So you put the J back.
Let's put the J back. If we don't, you can try this at home, right?
You do it in the console, J.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
In the console.
The J. Oh, okay, yeah. So you can show. Okay, so you can try that at home. And now, if we notice, we use the same like.js logic. So here's the trick. You just do that. You say, hey, use the JS file for me. Render tells you what view file to use, right? view template to use. All right, because I run out of like. See, so let's try this. Okay, unlike. Hey, like. Hey, works. So now we need to display the number of likes correctly. Let's do that real quick. If we know this, in here we have a likes count, and last time as we said, we're just gonna move this to the bottom so it's easier to see. And actually, I have a likes count column, but I don't want it. I'm just gonna remove that column. So this is why I practiced this before, and you know we had the error. But basically, I say, hey, let's. I'm just gonna remove that column. Migration. Yeah. What remove? You name this like remove likes count from photos. So photos table. So you say likes count. So that's the name of the column you want to remove. What happened?
Migration.
Migration. Actually, Rails is pretty smart. I think I haven't tried. If you do that, Rails will know what column you want to remove. See? Of course, this is integer. So when you remove, it doesn't need to know what type of column it is. But if you provide this column, when you do the undo, roll back, it will know what to do. It will do an add column. So that's why it's in-depth change. Okay? So let's run that. You run this so many times that you just want to wish it's automatic. So we have the same error as last time. All right, let's fix this. Let's go to photo and create a likes count method. How do we do this here? It's easy now. Yeah? Okay, when you're at home, next time ask us, like, this is your homework. Find the difference between this, and this. They're all different. But they give you the same result, just different performance. Okay? So next. Hey, it works. And now, how many likes? 1 like. If I click unlike, 0 like. Hey, it's very fast, right? We already achieved like unlike using the new way. So I've been really bad. I haven't checked in my code, so I'm not gonna do it now. First I check out a new branch. Let's call this demo, live demo. And in this branch, so right now I just say I add likes to it. So it's easy for me to see what changes I'm adding. Okay? So next up, we're going to do more stuff. We're going to just deploy to Heroku and see how it works. Okay. If we have more time, we can do animation on the card on jQuery. But let's deploy on Heroku. So it's easy. So we all know this by now. If you create, you can put a name, but I don't care about the name. And you do that. After Heroku create, what do we do next? Push. Okay. So let's do that. Get push Heroku. What? Master. What happened if I do master? Yeah, so this branch will not work actually. So here's the way to do it. You say, I want to deploy my live demo master to the master branch. So let's hope it works, and we need some data. Okay, we'll wait a little bit. So normally when you have it on Heroku, you also want some data. Sometimes as you work on your project, you want to be able to push your data up and pull your data down. Right? So I'm going to show you how to do that now. While waiting for this, we call it Heroku PG plugin. And it's pretty cool. Importing. This is the advantage of using PostgreSQL on your machine and on the server, because it's the same type of table, right? So here's there are many things you can read here, but I'm just interested in this one. Pushing my data up to Heroku. Okay? Come on. We'll wait it for a little bit. I'm going to type this command now. Start typing. Heroku push. Where is it? PG push. Oh, it's the same. So let us push it to Heroku with This is the, who knows what this is? The database URL is a little confusing, but all right, I just deployed to Heroku. I'm going to try to open it. It opens a URL for me and so how do we know what's wrong? Okay, Heroku logs, and this is our gem, right? If you keep tail, you can keep the tab there. And let's see what the error is. It say, of course, we don't have data, right? Server error, relation doesn't exist. So if you create and migrate, that's one way, but we have to create the database. So this is the better way. So I'm going to do this Heroku push. This is a little strange, okay? Push, basically PG push. I hope that it gives me a little help. PG push source database. What is our source database? Yes. Go to photo development. By now you know name of your project _ development. Remote target database. What is that? So when you do config, this is your remote database, right? If you use a Postgres admin and all of that, you can actually access this, not just Rails. You can use the password and access it. But basically, based on this syntax, you can pass the URL here. Either the name of the database, which is this one, this is the name of your database, or the fully qualified URL, which is this one. So I'm lazy. I'm just going to type the easy version. So what are we doing there? We are pushing our local database to remote. So it's the fastest way you can get your setup up and running. Notice I did not create database and migrate. Heroku create, but I did not do anything with the schema. I said copy my database. If you already migrate, this will not work. It will say, hey, you have to drop your database first. You have to reset. Okay, let's go Heroku open again. And here's the log. It looks like it's working. And if I do this, well, initially it's a little slow. Over time, we want to make it faster, right? Like, oh, it's getting better. So you can add animation if you like. But what's happening is replacing this whole card. Nothing else is being replaced. Make sense? Okay, so we deployed to Heroku. How are we doing on time? Should we continue? Okay, so let's work with emails. So when you like something, let's create an email for it. And as we work on it, I really encourage looking at the documentations. So if I do Rails mailer here, I'm going to just copy and paste what they tell me, okay? Let's generate a mailer, something like this. Notice in Rails document they use this bean stub a lot because so you don't have to run bundling and stuff. But if you use RVM, you're fine. So I just deployed to Heroku. Nothing changes. Let's do what we're doing next. Generate a mailer. When someone likes my photo, I want an email about it. So here's another cool thing. Some of you have tried email before. Some of you may not know this. So let's Rails generate mailer. Okay, you can name it any class you want. You can name it notification. In the past, people just name it something mailer. It's okay. It can be any class. Next, you can actually name the method you want to mail. So I'm going to call it notify likes. Sounds good? Okay. So when we run this, let's pay attention to what they create. It creates a layout file for your text. When you email, you can either email when you send your email, it has the HTML format and the text format. Like on some devices that cannot render HTML, it will use this. And then it also generates the 2 template files for you. These are the view files. And there's one more thing that's really interesting here. Test mailers previews. Has anyone used preview before? No, we can preview our email. So that's the cool part. So next up, we need to change this to run whenever we like someone. photo, right? But I want to introduce this first. Mailers, we have the code. So let's look at the code. If I go look at the project tree right here, under mailer, I have a photo mailer class. Notify likes. But to notify, I really need to actually pass in the photo and the user to know who I'm notifying, right? So you can make changes there. I'm keeping the default to show you what we just generated, okay? So let's go back to our localhost, this one. You can actually go to Rails, mailers. Hey, cool, right? You can preview your mail. So if you click here, this is the template. How do you see, where do you find these files? Where do you find it? It's a little hard to find because they put it in the test folder. Test, down here. Mailers, preview. I mean, that's the logic. I'm sorry. That's the, and then this is like the logic of the mailer. So let me take that back. How do you file this file? It's in the view folder. We saw it in the generator, right? So let me show the mailer for you. View, photo mailer, notify. So when you send, now it's best practice to prepare both the HTML format and the text format. Does it make sense? So what we really want here is, this is HTML. Let's set HTML. What you really want here is say, hey, someone liked your photo, right?
This is the text one.
Yeah, this is the text one. I'm sorry. Notice text one, you don't use HTML tag. This is what you use HTML. So I'm going to photo mailer, and I'm just like photo mailer, and I think I need photo and user.
Should we just need?
Someone just liked your photo, right? So what should the text be? I send this to photo dot. Do we know who we're sending to? The person who created the photo. Charles, do we have an owner of the photo? Okay, it doesn't matter. We send it to admin, right? We just, hey admin, I'm going to spam you, right? So let's send it to admin.
Instead of user, I think we should pass vote.
For who?
Vote.
Vote. Oh, yes, thank you. So that's the best, right? You just pass one, and over here, basically, I just say subject vote.user.email. Vote.voter.email. Just let's make it it's a little easier to see. Just liked your photo. Seems fine, right? And of course you can change the body, but that's not interesting. We can do that. And notify likes. You can actually test this. Let's test this in the view. I want this to be notify likes here right here. This to be updated. Oh no! What happened? Yeah. What happens here, guys? Wrong number of argument. So actually, the way Rails test mailer work, the reason we're showing this because this is very new in Rails 4. Oh, sorry. Sorry, let me just quit that and run it again. It's what is the word code photo, right? So in test here, this whole thing is run by this file. Okay, so you see preview this email at. It's quite cool. You can actually click on this link and then you can see it on the browser, right? And so it's here, but of course we already changed it. Now what it's saying is, hey, you also have to pass in the vote here. Okay? Well, what is this vote? Well, I'm just gonna need it. I don't care. Just give me one vote. So that's what happens, and you have to call this like that.
You don't want that.
Oh, you don't want this actually. So what happens is when you run this file, where's the go to photo? When you run this view, notify likes, it run this in test mailer, and then you say, hey, just grab one vote for me and just show me the template.
Can we grab one random email, random vote?
Yeah, random. You can get the first, last, or random. How do we get a random one? It's a little difficult. So you can actually do like, this .sample that give you a random one. So
Let's do take.
Take, yeah, so how do you do it?
Vote.take.
Hmm?
Vote.take.
Take?
Yeah.
Is that so?
I think that works, yeah.
So for random, actually, it's hard because you have to tell PostgreSQL how many items. So you do like count, and then you get a random number, and then you select it by a limit. But if you do take, let's see. So what happens with take? Like I want to see the SQL query, right? So with take, I think you just take it just limit one, right? It doesn't give me the random one. What I really want random section. So you can Google this at home. I think the idea is that you have to say get the count of rows and then get a number random in there, and then you limit by that number, and then you get the last one. But it's tricky. But we don't have too many votes, so you can do take, or you do sample here. Okay. So you want the result to be the same, so I'm doing that. Okay. There are more. You can actually get an ID by passing it here, but I'm not going to go into that. You can actually do find by ID here. So, but it's not by params ID, but it's more like by this kind of ID. It's okay. So we'll do what is it first? Yeah. Great. Let's actually make this work. Someone like, and let's make this photo. Let's hook this up here. Now, some of you implement photo before, so you know. This is how you call a photo, right? So let's go to the controller. After you like, let's do that. Photo mailer dot notify likes. It's a little different. This is why Rails is funny. This is a class method. Rails automatically, if you go look at the previous file, right? Basically, look at the photo mailer. When you inherit from application mailer, it makes this method a class method. so now you can call it as a class method. So let's pass in the vote. Where's my vote? So maybe I can get the vote from here, yeah? Is that okay? That's a lot of logic, right? I mean, so it's up to you, but basically, I want this method. Go to photo. Hey, return me the vote. Do I return the vote here? Yeah, I do. So that works. So I think I return the vote and do this. Now, who knows what else we need to call? Deliver. Deliver what?
No.
Okay, now. Okay, let's see. How do we know if it works or not? Look at the log file. Let's look at the log file. And click here. Okay, here's I unlike. Nothing interesting. Now I'm going to like. Whoa. Let's take a look at this one. I put it over here because the projector is a little funny. Let's look at this file. Hey, it's sending an email. Is it? Do you think it's sending an email? It says send email to. Does it crash? No, it works. But it's kind of lame because this is in the terminal. So let's deploy to Heroku to make sure that it can actually send email. Right? Before we do that, I want to show very quickly, you can, has anyone heard of OpenLetter? Alright, so you can use OpenLetter with Rails, and it's really fast, and when you like something, it will open a browser with that email. It used to be really useful, so you do it here. But now with the mailer preview that we just show, it's okay. I don't need it. So let's deploy to Heroku. And let's make it work on Heroku. So that's hard, right? So I have the mailer here. So my code will be, what's my commit? Add mailer, right? Okay. So let's push to Heroku. Get push Heroku. Same thing. Deliver now. What happens when we make it deliver now on Heroku? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it will be crash.
Yeah, it will crash. So let's look at the error. Heroku open. I'm just too lazy to type the URL. And let's prepare the log file. Alright, this is the log file. Are we ready? This is the log file. And I'm going to like. Crash. 500 error. What's the problem? Oh, it's a different problem. What is that? So in notify likes, line 10, mailer. So in photo mailer, where's my code? Did I exit from it? Okay, let's just go in there and let's go to the, it's say in photo mailer, what's the line? Line, why does it crash? Line 10. It says something is nil. Voter. Oh, that's difficult to see. Dot email is nil. Well.
And then you need that login.
Oh. See, so excellent. So basically, we should push, right? This actually, you wrap this in. Basically, will be, you know, if sign in, you do this.
Or you can redirect people to sign in.
Yeah, so that's a little harder because this is Ajax, but you're right. So here will be, please log in to like. All right, we fixed that. But let's sign in. Same thing. Okay, so let's try liking it, and I'm getting the log ready. Okay. All right. Unlike, no problem. Works. Like. Hey, it's sending email. But connection refused. So on production, you actually want to talk to an SMTP server. Now let's go on. Let's look into how you can send the email. Heroku needs login username and password to send the email. If you put your Gmail account here, it may work. Actually, you have to tell Gmail, hey, let me do that. Gmail is very careful. But if you create a Gmail, any email account and you use it here, it should work, right? But should we put that in the code? No. On GitHub, everyone will see it. So I'm going to use one service to do the emailing. And let's call that, I'm just going to use Mailtrap. So Charles and I really like this one. Basically, it gives you fake account credentials to send email. So basically, it say, hey, configure your email this way. Username and password. Excellent. Let's put this in my code. Environments.
So Mailtrap, just like a Mailtrap is an email server that doesn't actually send email. So you send email through Mailtrap, and later you can go and look at this inbox. It doesn't send to the real user. So this is useful for testing.
Yeah. So if when you test on staging, when you test your data, you don't want to send to your user at gmail.com. Even though it's sending, like Charles say, it just go to trap, right? This Mailtrap place.
In production, you use Gmail, but there's also services that send email for you. So SendGrid.
Yeah, so you use that. The service is Heroku add-on. Okay, so when you deploy to Heroku, what environment is it? Production. So what file am I changing? Production.rb. So let's do that. It makes it really easy for me. I just add this file. And I can actually send email now. Well, again, this is fake email. It will show up here so we can test. Okay? I tested one here before, so let's try this. But, do we want to commit this code? So, let's look at my code right now. If I do a diff before I commit the code. Oh, okay, I make some changes here. Oh no, I'm submitting this code up there. So, how do we do it?
So why don't we want this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. If you submit your password to GitHub, especially if you have an open account, anyone can see your password and steal your stuff.
Okay.
So this happened to me with AWS, which is like Amazon server. I had to open one, and then I woke up one day and my bill was $1,000.
Yeah.
People robots scanning stuff.
So be really careful because even if it's on GitHub for 1 hour, or even 5 minutes, some bot may have looked at your code and grab it. Okay. So now let's do this. Many ways to do this, but one approach we take is that not going to commit this, but I get the environment variable. So let's call this SMTP username, and down here we'll call it SMTP password. So on Heroku, how do we set these variables, guys?
You have two ways. One way is to use the command line, or one way use the website.
Yes, you can go to the website. Let's use the command line. Heroku config is what we have here. Let's add one more. I add SMTP username. I'm going to copy and paste this string. Yes, thank you. So set, right? And you can set multiple ones, so you only restart your server once. Let's set that as well. SMTP password equals, okay? Enter. Setting the vars and restarting. Now if you run Heroku config again, you see it, right? And now if we deploy this code, now I don't need this anymore. And before I deploy, I say, oh, this is fine. Nothing is unsafe anymore, right? So let's add this. What do we call it? Add mailtrap config, right? Okay, that's just that. And then we do the same thing for basically we push to Heroku again. So the goal is that if it works, we have another email show up here because we use this SMTP server. It's not a real SMTP server, but it works like one. So I refresh this app. And if I unlike, nothing happened. I don't do emailing when you unlike. But if I like, yay! Looks like it works, right? It sent email. It sent two kind of format. And if you look into this guy, right? This one, someone just liked the photo, right? And you see how it actually also do this. Gives you many ways to test. If you debug, if on your, when you receive an email, you can actually view the raw information because someone can actually have. This is how you can detect also some email is not very trustworthy, right? So should we cover .f?
I think we should take a break.
I will take a break. That's a good idea. So we just covered quite a bunch down to here. But next up, we should talk about how to do background.
Yeah, we should. Let's take a break and talk about background.
Okay.